Hi, my name is Bahaa Mikhail, founder and president of PayrollCentric. Welcome to another episode of our PayrollCentric podcast. Today, we have a very special guest, both to PayrollCentric and especially to me personally. Josephine Mikhail, welcome to the PayrollCentric podcast.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm looking forward to this.
So am I. We've been trying to make this happen for a while, haven't we? So let's get started by telling the audience a little bit about you. Why don't you tell everyone who Josephine Mikhail is?
Well, let's see. Obviously, Josephine Mikhail. I've been with PayrollCentric for 18 years. I actually just celebrated my 18th year with PayrollCentric last week. It was just amazing. Thank you. I feel like we just started this. Before PayrollCentric, I worked in the world of marketing for some pretty large window and wall decor companies. And then Baha decided to start PayrollCentric back in 2000. Wow, 2005. So it's been a few years, right? And, he was working on it the first year or so. And then at some point he was like, do you want to come work with me? And it was kind of like, what do I don't know if that's a good idea. But then it just made sense to make that move. And then I started working with him and helping promote the PayrollCentric name in the community. Like we joined the Chamber of Commerce, and then just did a lot of networking locally to help grow our name so that we were known in our community. I mean, LA is pretty big. So I think we have a pretty good following at this point.
Yeah. So you've been with us for 18 years, and you've had multiple roles over those 18 years. And I appreciate all that you do and all that you have done. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your current role that you've been doing for what now, 7 years, something like that?
Well, with payroll, everything seems to revolve around it that has to do with the employees, like benefits, timekeeping, workers' comp, all that fun stuff all revolves around payroll and wages. So at some point, I think it was 2013, there was a shift in the industry, especially with the workers' comp pay-as-you-go. And we all know that workers' comp is based on actual wages. Well, we are the keeper of the actual wages. So It made sense for us to help with that process. So we are both actually licensed, Baha is too, for insurance services. So I started focusing on developing and promoting our pay-as-you-go program, which any client that's on it loves it because it eliminates the need for a huge deposit in most industries at the beginning of the policy year. And then at the end, the audit is much smoother. And then obviously, because again, we're managing your payroll records, we can help you with the audit. We can help with the accuracy. It's guaranteed. We're a trusted source in the industry. So when we're sending the reports off on your behalf, they're accepted readily by the insurance carriers. And then over the years, it just made more sense to keep expanding our services because at PayrollCentric, we're all about finding solutions for our clients. And the more we can help support them, the easier it is for them to run their own businesses and focus on whatever it is that they specialize in. So whether it's a restaurant or a law office, then you're not worried about, managing payroll and a lot of the other human resource benefit type services.
Yeah. And so that was probably, like you said, 10 or 11 years ago. I can't believe how fast the time goes by. But that's not all you offer in terms of insurance services, right?
Right. Then we continued growing and we help with health insurance benefits, which, if you didn't realize by the name of the podcast, it's all about open enrollment right now. 'Tis the season. So for a lot of people, most clients tend to renew at the beginning of the year. And that goes back to your maximums and minimums and all that fun stuff is based on calendar year. So this tends to be the busiest time of the year for open enrollment. And, obviously at PayrollCentric, we're here to help with that process. We've got several clients that are using this service and they love it. We make it a lot easier for them because, again, we're the keeper of the information. I don't have to call and say, hey, did you hire a new person by chance? I get a report. It's like, oh, you terminated? I'm so sorry that happened. Let me notify the carriers. I get a report for that too. So all these little things help simplify the process for our clients.
The details, right?
Yeah.
Right. So just to kind of recap a little bit about some of the high level things that we do when somebody is on our insurance service. We're keeping track of employees who are new hires, for the sake of their benefits, employees that are separated from their employers for the purposes of COBRA and whatnot. And you also help with open enrollment. Why don't we talk a few minutes about how you help our clients with the open enrollment process?
Sure. Well, for open enrollment, it's important to take the time to evaluate your current coverages and make sure that they're still the right fit for your employees, because things change, and sometimes you might have an employee who will approach you because they need a benefit or something happened and they ended up spending a lot more than they expected, and they want to be able to select a better coverage type plan, things like that. They want to make changes. So as an employer, you want to be able to offer a balanced selection for your employees, something that's going to fit their needs. And then at the end of the day, you also want to remain in compliance, because that's important to factor in. So we help manage that process. So we help evaluate, the plans that you have, look at expanding plan offerings. Like, say maybe you decide company's really doing well, I want to add life insurance, and add a set benefit for your employees where it's a employer sponsored benefit. We can help set that up. If you want to, maybe you didn't have dental initially, now you want to add dental and vision, we would go ahead and add that. You might have only had a dental HMO. Well, we're in LA. There's a lot of options, but everybody wants PPO. So you want to make sure that your employees can go to the dentist that they want to go to. So you change your benefit selection again. So we make all those evaluations, and then we make the changes necessary. We communicate all that to the carrier, and then we actually help with the open enrollment process. Now, back in the day, I remember like my first company getting a really thick packet from each different carrier, because I worked for a pretty big company that our employer offered. So I got several packets that I had to go through, and it was inundating because I was making all these selections and I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if I was picking the right thing. And then with us now, we've streamlined those 6-page enrollment applications and things like that. And we use an online portal. And what's really nice about the online portal, again, we have all the employee information. We populate the portal for you, and then the employee can log in. They see what their options are. They see exactly how much they're going to pay per pay period, depending on which option they choose. So it's all there in black and white. And then there's a lot of tools online. They can see their summary of benefits. They can look for a provider. There's all kinds of links available right there under their selections. So it's all a one-stop shop. And then it's all digitalized. So at the end, instead of having a giant stack of enrollment applications, we run a report. It pulls all the enrollment applications. We send those over to the carrier. We make sure everything gets processed. As the employer, you have a hard copy of everything. You can either keep it digitally or you can download it and stick it in a folder, whatever works for your organization. And then, so you're in compliance, and we make sure we get the waivers, because there's sometimes employees who waive coverage and they might be going through maybe a covered California, but they really need to be under the employer plan because the employer offers a plan. So we make sure we collect the waivers, again, to help the employer stay in compliance. And we just try to simplify the process as much as possible, because it could be very inundating.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, nobody wants to deal with open enrollment. They want to focus on growing their business.
Right. Couple of questions for you, Josephine. So you said everything is electronic. You basically shop for plans, make sure that the best plans are available to the employer to select from. You set everything up in the on the online portal for the employer and the employees, and then it's completely hands off. Nobody does anything, right? That's the extent of what you do, right?
Well, no, after that, after we make sure that the carrier makes all the changes, and
Yeah.
then we help set up the payroll deductions. Again, a typical agent isn't going to have access to your payroll, so they won't be able to do that. You're going to have to set up, or somebody in your organization is going to be responsible for setting up those payroll deductions, but we help with that as well. We help set up the deductions. Of course, we ask the employers to double check and make sure that everything looks good on their end. But we do streamline that process as much as possible.
So that's for the benefit of the employer, of course. So the deductions, once the employees select their plans, assuming they do, they don't sign a waiver. Then there are deduction calculations, and those get put into Dash.
Right.
Very good.
Right.
Very
Because
good.
the employees have the option. So the employer has a responsibility to offer a reasonable plan for their employees that's
Right.
affordable. It's all part of the Affordable Care Act. And they have to pay a minimum of 50% of that. But, it might be like a bronze or silver level plan, but, I want to have more coverage as an employee. So I might select the gold or platinum plan. Well, I would be the one to pay the difference as the employee. And I can see how much it was going to cost me to make that decision
Right.
as I'm working on my enrollment.
Yeah.
And if I want to add my kids, or if I want to add my spouse, or if I want to, remove somebody, things like that, you see right then and there how much it's going to actually cost you, so you can make an informed decision.
And if the employee has questions, who do they reach out to?
A lot of times they reach out to their employer, and if the employer can't help, doesn't want to help, is too busy to help, they send them off to me, and then we help through the process and we help answer those questions. So there's been many a times that I've, gone through directories of doctors in areas trying to help employees find, the best doctor that they want to go see that's local to them and things like that. We do what we can to help answer all those questions. And
Yeah.
then, employees have changes. So if they had a new baby, right, they have to add that. So they reach out to us and we work with them and make sure that the baby is set up to their plan.
Yeah. Qualified event.
Yep.
So obviously, I know the answer to this question, but do you ever go out and meet with clients and their employees during open enrollment?
Oh yeah, absolutely. See, the nice thing about maybe one of the positives that came after COVID was that a lot of people were comfortable doing things online. So
Right.
it made it really easy to help clients that had employees in multiple states, because we have many, many clients, even us at PayrollCentric, we have employees in different states. So
Yeah.
it made it really easy to do open enrollment online. But I mean, I love to go out and see the clients and see the employees and interact with people, because it makes it more personal. I want to be able to help people. And when you go and you meet with them and you present their options and you answer any questions in person and help guide them through open enrollment, there's a lot of times where I just take my computer and walk the employees through on my own computer. They still get their own private username and password. We go through, they log in, and I help guide them through, because it's really, they see their medical options, they select it, they go to their dental options, their vision, their life insurance, and what other benefits they may have if it's long-term disability. It's literally screen after screen, and they literally sign it, and then it's done. And at the end, they get a summary. And a lot of times people print the summary or save it as a PDF, whatever works best for them. Again, less paper. We're saving the trees in the process.
Yes. So, I mean, what you just described over the last couple of minutes are our values, right? Compliance, ease, and care. Everything that we do is compliant, and we try to make our clients' lives easier by
Mhm.
using our services. And this is one of these examples where you're the one that's doing the shopping for the plans, helping them to make an informed decision. You're the one that is responsible for setting everything up in the online portal, getting everybody set up so that they can log in. That's all the ease of use, and then of course the exceptional care is the hands-on approach by not just assisting the employer or the HR administrator, but really like answering questions and helping the employees make informed decisions as well. So thank you
Absolutely.
for doing all that you do there. I'm going to ask you an unscripted question here, real quick. What is which insurance provider is your favorite insurance carrier?
Ooh, that there is no favorite, because it doesn't matter who I like. It makes more sense who's the right fit for the employee and the client. So
Nice, nice.
if you have if you have employees in multiple states, you want to look at a carrier that obviously is in multiple states and has a broad network. So, United Healthcare is one of those. They're really big. Anthem is one of those. Blue Shield, depending on which part of the country you are, it's Blue Shield, Blue Cross, combo.
Very good.
So it just depends. So it's not who my favorite is, it's what's the best fit for the client.
That's a great answer. Josephine, is there anything else you want to tell everybody watching this podcast? Is there anything else we need to talk about?
I mean, maybe I'm here to help. Happy to answer any questions. If you don't have insurance and you're considering it, reach out. Let's evaluate how much it would cost you as an employer. And then we can also discuss the benefits, because some of the benefits of offering benefits is, the quality of the employees, and employee retention is huge, right? You want to be able to attract highly skilled employees and you want them to stay, especially if you spend all the time helping train them and developing them. But then if you don't have benefits for them, they may leave and you may lose really good, highly skilled employees. So it's important to be able to evaluate what you can afford as a company and make those decisions for you and your employees. Because in the long term, our employees matter.
You're right. And they're our most valuable assets.
Absolutely.
So what if a company has like one or two employees? Should they call you, or not worth our time? What do you think?
No, you should absolutely call. So as long as you have one W-2 employee, you can offer benefits. It has to be at least one W. So it can be an owner and one W-2 employee. It can't just be an owner. You have to have at least one. So it's really two people in the state of California. Most states have that same rule. It's at least two people, but it could be an owner of a business and then one W-2 employee. It cannot be a 1099. Those are some of the rules that are in place. And those are the things that we are aware of, and we help make sure that you are in compliance.
I'm going to ask you another unscripted question. You ready?
Sure.
So I'm sure that there are people that are going to watch this episode of the podcast that are in the insurance industry. People that are insurance agents, insurance brokers, have their own agencies. Are we their competitors?
Well, I don't know. We're in Los Angeles. There's a lot of business for everybody. Are we a direct competitor? Like, especially if they're a client? Absolutely not. We wouldn't go after our actual clients who are insurance agencies and things like that. We don't do that. That's just unethical, in my opinion. So if somebody's referred a payroll client to us,
right,
we're not going to turn around and say, okay, we want your insurance. That doesn't sit well with me. It's not how I operate. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right. In fact, we have plenty of insurance agency partnerships where it's a win-win for everybody.
Exactly.
Okay, Josephine, so I've got one more unscripted question for you. And I guess I'll preface this by telling everybody that Josephine and I are foodies. It is like one of my favorite hobbies to, eat and try, different flavors. And even though I'm a creature of comfort and I like to go back to the same places over and over, I'm also happy to try different places. So, Josephine, what's your favorite restaurant?
Upper West in Santa Monica. They're really close to home.
Yep.
They have a great vibe. The food is delicious. It's not like other restaurants at all. It's kind of a fusion of sorts. And then the wait staff, the owners, they're all great. It's just a fun place to be.
Yep. I agree 100% with Josephine's answer. Upper West is my favorite restaurant. I can literally eat there, 4 or 5 days a week. But Josephine won't let me. I'm sorry, Fred. Fred's the owner. What we'll do is we will put Josephine's contact information at the end of this podcast for anybody that has any questions about insurance needs. If you're looking to make a change, if you want some expert advice, there's no pressure. We are here to answer questions and help out. If it makes sense for you, if it's not broken, don't fix it. We'll also put Fred's contact information as well. He's the owner of Upper West. we'll put Upper West contact information on there. And when you listen to this when you watch this podcast, if you've got any recommendations for restaurants in Southern California, Josephine and I literally will go down to San Diego on any given Saturday just to have a seafood lunch. So no place is too far away. If you've got a recommendation, we must know about it. Please reach out to either me and or Josephine, and we both thank you in advance for your restaurant recommendations. Josephine, thank you very much for being on the podcast today. Hopefully it wasn't too bad.
No, it was fine. It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you everyone for attending or watching this episode. Just want to leave you with PayrollCentric is dedicated to simplifying payroll processes for our clients by acting as an extension of your organization. Our approach offers personalized service tailored to each client's unique requirements, backed by my steadfast commitment to compliance, ease of use, and exceptional care. Beyond our core services, PayrollCentric provides valuable solutions, including insurance, like we just finished talking about, time and attendance management solutions, and retirement planning. All of them designed to enhance our comprehensive payroll offerings. Until next time, have a great day.